Ever wonder what it'd be like, living right next door to like one of the most legendary football stadiums in the world?
Mm.
We're diving into that, the life of Darren Gee.
Okay.
He's a resident of Anfield,
Right.
home to Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah. Big, big club.
And for anyone who might not know
Right.
Liverpool FC, they're a pretty big deal
Huge.
in the world of football.
Yeah.
Like massive global fan base.
Absolutely.
Tons of history, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Darren's story, it's not just about like cheering on the Reds from his window.
Right.
It's more about how a place can kind of like get woven into someone's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the unexpected stuff that comes with that. So we're working with the transcript today. It's from this YouTube channel, Scouse Sit-Off.
Okay.
But trust me, the way he describes things, it's super vivid. Like you're right there.
Oh, I see.
Like he talks about his flat.
Yeah.
And you can practically hear the crowd like right from his bedroom window.
Wow.
I mean, that's got to be something else, right?
Yeah, that's wild. It really gets at that place identity thing, Like how a location, especially one that's such a huge part of a community's identity, like Anfield.
Right.
It becomes more than just a place to live. It's like part of you.
Yeah, I get that.
It shapes how you see things, how you experience the world.
It's like some people, like music lovers, dream of living above, like some legendary jazz club, right? Just soaking up the vibes, the history. But in this case, it's Anfield, right? With that electric atmosphere.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is Darren actually experienced that firsthand growing up, right?
Right.
So that early connection, I bet it just makes that pull even stronger.
Right.
It's not just about being a fan. It's about being home,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you can really feel that when he talks about moving back to Anfield and finding this flat overlooking the grounds.
It's kind of wild how a place can, like, have that much pull on you,
Sure.
It's not just, like, bricks and mortar or whatever.
Right.
It's memories, emotions, like a whole identity wrapped up in one spot.
Absolutely.
But, even though Darren's obviously, like, really connected to Anfield,
Yeah.
it's not all sunshine and, celebrating goals and stuff.
Right.
Like, his story takes kind of a dark turn when he starts talking about threats.
Really?
And, like, people trying to intimidate him.
Wow. See, that's where you get into this whole territoriality thing.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, like, someone literally saying, this is my space,
Warrior.
It's deeper than that. It's, like, primal almost,
What?
especially in places with these, like, strong collective identities,
Yeah.
like sports
What is
or
it?
even music, Think about those diehard fans.
Totally.
They get super protective over their bands, their genres.
Sure, for sure.
It's like they draw these invisible lines,
Yeah, totally.
And Darren actually calls these people, the ones who seem to want him out, he calls them rats.
Rats.
Yeah. And he talks about finding dumbbells left at his door. Yeah, his windows being smashed.
That's all fair.
It's like this sense of ownership. Even if it's totally messed up, it can get ugly.
Yeah.
Like there's actually research on this, how territorial behavior plays out in cities.
Really?
Yeah, it often happens over resources like parking spots or
Yeah.
even access to like parks and stuff.
Makes sense.
But it can also be about these like feelings of belonging,
Yeah.
identity, like we were saying before.
It's just really unsettling because it clashes so much with, like, the image of football,
Totally.
like joy, celebration, community.
Exactly. And it shows how even in groups, even when things seem positive,
Right.
there can be these darker currents underneath,
Yeah.
like power struggles, people being excluded,
Yeah.
It reminds me of that research on fan violence.
Oh, right.
It often comes from this need to protect something,
Yeah.
like their team or their band, even their neighborhood.
It's like they think they own it.
Exactly. And they have to keep it pure.
Wow, that's intense.
It is. And Darren's experience really shows how complex it can be.
Definitely.
It's this crazy contrast. On one hand, the joy of being so close to Anfield.
Right, like a dream come true almost.
Exactly. But then on the other hand, this constant fear.
Yeah, like he has to protect himself in his own home.
And that's where it gets really interesting psychologically.
How so?
Because how do you deal with that tension, that clash between passion and fear?
And he actually talks about, like, developing these almost like routines,
Right.
to try and feel safe.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a normal reaction when you're dealing with stress like that.
He says he even, like, changed his whole gym routine because he was worried about being followed.
Wow.
And then, like, at night, he had this whole system for barricading his door.
Really?
Yeah, even boiling a kettle or something.
It's like, wow, we adapt, you know?
Right.
Even in crazy situations, we find a way to cope.
Yeah, so.
But it makes you wonder about the cost of it all, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that constant worry, the fear, it's got to wear on you.
For sure. But even with all that, he keeps going, you know?
Yeah.
Like with his online stuff, it's like he's almost challenging these people.
There's a real strength in that, though, you know?
Yeah.
Like refusing to be controlled by fear.
Totally.
But it's a tough line to walk, right? Trying to live a normal life when all this is going on.
Absolutely. And that's what makes Darren's story so powerful. You know?
Yeah, it really makes you think.
It reminds you that behind these famous landmarks, behind the excitement, people are dealing with real stuff.
Yeah, we see the stadium, we hear the crowds, but we don't always see the individual lives playing out around it.
Exactly. So yeah, next time you see Anfield, you know, or hear that song, you'll never walk alone.
Powerful song.
Think of Darren's story.
It reminds you there's always more to the story, you know?
Definitely. So much more.